Hey guys, my name is Josef Rakich. I'm an online personal trainer and I help people all around the world get into the best shape of their lives. I've currently helped over 160,000 people worldwide and the goal is to help 1 million people.
My name is Gareth. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at MacroActive based in Wales. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a father, sports fanatic, and I absolutely have a passion for helping people succeed.
So Gareth, how do you define what brand is for an online fitness trainer?
I think when we talk about branding in general, I think a lot of people have a misconception of branding. I think people think it's a logo or a slogan, but actually branding is so much more than that. You know, it's the whole kind of business conception of your brand identity. It's your, it's your values, it's your why, it's kind of your purpose. It's all encompassing basically. And I think it's really important when you're first getting started is just basically have a full branding exercise to really establish what your brand identity is. And a lot of people don't actually do this when they first get started. And I think when you're first getting started, as a foundation, it's important just to come up with your branding statement just to start off. And it's actually quite an easy way to do that. And that's by defining your niche. Or niche, as the Americans say. I don't know what you guys say in New Zealand. Do you say niche or niche?
Niche.
Niche, perfect. Glad we cleared that one up. And I think the simple way to create your branding statement is to basically just firstly ask yourself the question, what's the core market? And for us, it's health and fitness, right? The second question to ask is, who are we helping? So an example could be busy mums as an example. Then what's the goal? It could be fat loss, for example. And then finally, how are we going to achieve that? So that could be 30-minute quick home workout. So just by asking those questions, you can come up with a branding statement, kind of sets that foundation. And basically that is, I help busy mums with fat loss through 30-minute quick home workout. So nice and easy to do, right? So the question I have for you, Joe, is that when you first got started, was it easy for you to figure out your brand identity? Is that kind of what you did, or did it take some time to figure out?
Yeah, it wasn't straight off the bat. It did take me a little bit of time, but I think that is so important to really, focus on establishing that brand, finding your niche, and going all in on that market. Where a lot of people, they just ignore that and they just end up being almost like a one-man band on social media offering meal plans and workout programs. But if you want to look at the bigger picture, you want to scale, you want to have more impact, brand is so important to establish.
Absolutely. And I think as well, it's like having a deeper dive to really understand who your customer is as well. Because when you kind of work that out, you can really understand, what your values are, what your culture is, why would they buy into your brand identity. So a customer avatar exercise is something that we speak to our clients about, and that's basically just building that persona of, who they are, what's their interests, their hobbies, what's their status, what's their income, what do they have, what do they feel, what's their average day before they buy the product. And once you create that exercise, actually, it's a really good way to establish some of those branding exercise questions going forward. So definitely defining the niche and really having a deep dive in your customer avatar is a good way on how to define yourself as an online fitness trainer.
What mistakes do most fitness coaches make in this online training space, would you say?
I would say, Joe, that the biggest mistake is actually launching without a branding strategy. And I think you just touched on this earlier. I think a lot of people will just get kick-started. They don't know their brand identity. They just wing it and see what happens. And actually, there's actually a good framework behind this, which is called the Conscious Competence Ladder. And basically, this is 4 stages that you have to go through to kind of reach your ultimate success. And stage 1 is basically what most people do. So we just get started in business. We don't really think about it. We don't have a branding exercise. We don't even have a business plan. We don't even know what our particular goals are, right? So we just get started, we're enthusiastic, we're eager, we're excited, and we get sales because our enthusiasm actually pushes sales. We've got a content strategy, but well, it's just a sporadic strategy, that's what it is. And then what happens then is we get to stage 2, which is where we're consciously incompetent. We start to realize that we're not actually that good at what we're doing, and it's actually quite difficult. And this is the worst stage to be at because we realize we don't know what our brand identity is. We don't understand our purpose or why we're doing this. And basically what happens at that point is we get demotivated, content just dries up, and then we quit. And that's most people, Joe. That's you see this yourself. That is most people. And to get to stage 3, which is the conscious competence stage, is basically just by seeking help, asking assistance, working on that branding strategy, because nobody's got it really figured out. It's all about just trying to figure it out as much as possible, seeking help and assistance, doing some research. And when you get to stage 3, through persistence and hard work, it's not completely all together, but you start to feel like it's working. Sales start to come in, but you still need to work hard. But then when you get to stage 4 is where you're unconsciously competent. And that's the best stage to be. And I suppose that's where you are on your fitness journey right now, where you've got everything figured out in terms of your brand identity, your purpose, your why. You know exactly what you're trying to achieve. Like you said, you want to help millions of people across the world. And at that stage, your content strategy is in place. Your ads are kicking. Everything's working. You've got a team behind you. And that's where everybody wants to get to. But if the biggest mistake, going back to the question, is that if we don't have that brand identity exercise in place first, and we don't try to figure that out, that's the foundation of everything. Then it just collapses. So that's the biggest mistake for me.
And it's so important with that persistence that you mentioned as well. Just keeping at it until you figure out what it is. And like you said, everyone drops off because they do something and it doesn't work, or it's not what they expected. So they give up, but they just need to keep being persistent, keep pushing forward, keep trying. And if you do that, it just becomes second nature, which is what it's done for me right now.
Absolutely. And in business, that's the whole thing about being in business, that we have to take risks and we have to work hard and we have to be persistent to get what we want, right? And I think when people hit that stage 2, they go and do something else. And the same thing happens. They go through the same process. That's why that model is so effective, because if people can understand that, then with consistency and hard work, they can get to stage 4. But it all starts with that brand identity and working towards it, understanding the purpose, the why we're doing this, what our goal is, our mission. And yeah, that's really important when it comes to getting started in business, for sure. So how do you keep your brand on point? What's the secret behind that?
I guess it's just about learning who your audience is, what they want, and being able to adapt at any time. So you only learn that from being in the space every single day, and getting feedback from your audience and from your clients, and then adapting it around that. I find the people that can't adapt are the people that they feel like they're stuck in their way. And if they're stuck in their way, they just can't change or alter what they need to do in order to keep their brand relevant in the current state of social media or the social platforms or whatever's happening. So I think being able to adapt to the content kind of created, your messaging that you're trying to push, is the best way to stay relevant for this day and age.
I suppose as well, you're adapting to social media as well. So recently TikTok came on the scene, and obviously you jumped straight at that when that came out, and that's almost like building from scratch, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was really, really big on Instagram and Facebook, and I was pushing all my content there. And obviously Instagram and Facebook are getting less and less reach, organic reach. And some of the reason is just because most people are now spending their time on TikTok. So if I want to stay relevant, if I want to keep my brand relevant, I can't just ignore TikTok. It's not just the app for 14-year-olds to do dances in their kitchen. It's an app where you can put any type of content. So because I know the audience is going to different platforms, I want to be relevant, so I want to be in these platforms. So I'm up there on TikTok now, I'm posting workout instructional videos, I'm giving tips, I'm giving advice, and I'm building my audience there because I want to stay relevant to the relevant platform at the time. But that's not to say I just leave Instagram and Facebook for the dead, because people are still there as well. It's just about adapting and understanding where people are going, where people are consuming their content, and be there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And this actually, I saw a lot of people go through this. Snapchat was huge. Everyone was on Snapchat posting their Snapchat stories, and then Instagram comes out with Instagram stories. Everyone that I knew, every trainer, pretty much stopped posting on Snapchat, and they just started uploading everything to their Instagram stories. And I'm like, why don't you just post them both? It literally is just the same content going on Snapchat. I don't know why they just switch platforms. For me, I'm just like, okay, there's Snapchat audience and there's Instagram audience. So I'm just going to put to both so I can reach more people.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you're just keeping your brand on point, but you're just taking advantage of multiple platforms in the same respect. Same content, maybe chopping some of it up on different platforms depending on how it works, but you're just keeping that kind of brand message consistent throughout.
Exactly. And now there's YouTube Shorts. So what am I doing? I'm putting my TikTok videos, my Instagram Reels on YouTube Shorts because I want to stay relevant where the people's attention is. Is there a line from copying brands that you like or copying them too much and like stealing their ideas?
Don't copy brands.
Why is that?
So look, here's the thing, right? Copying brands isn't a good idea because, well, firstly, it's not a good idea to copy somebody else's brand, right? They may not be happy about that, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is that if you're copying somebody else, then it's not unique to yourself. It's not authentic. It's not you. So when we go back to that model of stage 2, when you're trying to work out your brand identity, you're going to realize that this isn't me. This isn't what I'm doing. And if you basically are copying, other people, it's more difficult to, I think, to create content because you haven't got that real kind of substance and why behind you. I got a good example of this, right? So you've seen the film Cool Runnings, right?
I haven't, but continue.
You haven't? Oh, you need to watch this film. So basically, Jamaican bobsleigh team go to the Winter Olympics, right? And everybody's laughing. Jamaican bobsleigh team, no chance. Anyway, they go to the Olympics and they start copying the Swiss team because the Swiss are the best. So they're actually speaking like them, they're acting like them, they're being like them. And as a result of doing that, they're actually getting frustrated with each other. They're losing, people are laughing at them. But then once they actually figure out who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is all about, and their brand identity, and they start speaking the way they want to speak, they start becoming very happy and they start winning. And I think that's a good example of, it's really important to come up with your own brand identity. Now, going back to the question, I think it's okay to look at brands and do the research, but once you pick ideas, fantastic, put it into your own style, tonality, personality. That's the most important thing. So don't just copy brands. It won't feel authentic. And actually, your audience, it won't brush off on your audience as well, because the audience feels the passion, the enthusiasm that comes from you. So I always think that, yes, look for ideas, do some research, but always adapt it in your own way. And I'm sure you've done that over the years.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So Joe, how authentic do you think the reaction is to your brand online?
Yeah, so I think being authentic is super important and super crucial. People want to build that relationship with you. People want to feel like they have that personal connection. And I find the best way to do that is to be authentic through your social media platforms. So always, on all platforms, I'm trying to be as authentic as I can, because I know this is going to help me establish a better connection with my audience, and almost pull them into a closer family feel with me and what I post and what I talk about and my messaging and everything I'm putting out there on social. So I think being authentic is super important.
And you show up on a regular basis as well, so you're connecting with your audience in terms of, somebody sending you a DM, you're getting back to them, right?
Always. And I'm on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, everything. And I'm pushing content on them all every single day. Even YouTube now, I'm doing daily with my YouTube shorts. And I think the more I can push my authenticity out there, it's just going to help 100 times more than if I was not being authentic.
Do you think as well, from your authenticity, I've noticed as well, you have so many video testimonials and transformation pictures as well. Do you think that kind of builds your authority and builds trust, and it shows how authentic you are because you've helped so many people as well?
Yep, 100%. And getting all these client transformations and testimonials, it's such good social proof, and that allows me to post these and use these transformations or testimonials to show other people what I've helped my clients achieve. And it's more powerful than anything when it comes to actually getting a new client to sign up to your program, because they've seen, okay, you've helped this person achieve this results, this person looks similar to me, I want similar results like this, I'm going to take up Joseph on his offer.
So Joe, when you first started business, did you figure out what your brand identity was straight away, or did it take time?
No, I definitely didn't figure it out right away. It did take time. And the only way you're going to find out what it really is just being in the space, getting started, and just, being active, seeing what your clients want, hearing their voices, and trying to understand your client avatar, I guess. And over time, you will establish your brand. But it won't really be something from day one. So have you had a client that hasn't listened to your branding advice? And if so, what was the outcome from there?
Yeah, it's the typical answer of enthusiastic, raring to go, making some sales, thinking everything's going well, but then time comes and there's a certain amount of time until the structure starts to fall basically, and they hit that stage 2 again and keep going back to it. It's very important, and they give up and they go and do something else, whether that's on another platform, whether that's even going into a different business or starting a new job, whatever that may be, and the same thing happens again. So I think in terms of going back to what we were saying earlier, just trying to work out what your brand is by asking some key questions like what you're all about, what your why is, your vision, your values, what you're trying to achieve. And look, there's a whole branding exercise that encompasses all that. But it's, like I said earlier, it's important to have the foundations in place. How can having your own fitness platform help you with your personal branding?
I think it can help a tremendous amount because it's your own website, your own app. It's yours. You own it. They're signing up to you. A lot of these other trainers have signed up to other platforms and they're basically just using a third-party platform. Their clients are logging into this other platform and then accessing them. So the best way to kind of break out of that and to step above that is to make it your own your audience, own your platform, and have it about you. So there's other platforms out there, I won't mention the names, but basically what ends up happening is everyone logs into these platforms under the trainer's name and they use that platform to get their meal plans, their workout programs. And it's just not the same as having your own app. Having your own app is so powerful and it almost puts you a little bit more on a pedestal, if that makes sense. Just gives you a bit more respect and a bit more authority rather than doing it through a third-party platform. So that's my opinion on it. What about you, Gareth?
Yeah, I spot on. I think I think you're right. I think there's a lot of apps and platforms out there right now where they will tell the trainer how to do it. And it's really important to have your own platform where you're in control. I think that's the important thing here, is you're in control. So for example, if you've got a product, maybe a training regime, for example, strength and conditioning, a HIIT cardio regime, or a skills program, whatever that may be, but the way that you do that manually, if you can take that and put that into your own platform, when you're selling yourself, you're actually going to be selling the product that you believe in, right? So going back to your personal branding, you're going to give you everything. You're going to be enthusiastic and eager to sell this product because it's yours. You know that this product gets you results, and I think that's super important. And as well as having a product like that, also having your own content and you being in control on what you can upload and take control of. So I think it's very important that you have a platform that gives you the flexibility and the control. And actually, I can think of one right now. It begins with an N.
MacroActive. And there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, go and like the video. Also subscribe for new videos every single week on growing and scaling your business. And I want to hear your opinion on what is the most important thing in building brand. Leave that in the comment section down below.
And if you're interested in running your own platform and scaling your online fitness business, please reach out. We'll be more than happy to help.
And one more thing, guys, if you still haven't subscribed, you can go and push that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to see the links down below for all the different social media channels to follow us on.